a sacrifice seduced for the altar of your vanity. A jealous, hungry God, craving praises of profanity. With bedroom dark and dine, and a deep mouth stained with wine, it drinks its fill. It was your mothers, not your brothers, that agreed to feed you poison. This egregious lack of choice indeed seemed fit to join your voice in, with lies disguised as prizes of reason and wisdom, with briberies of finery to weaken any criticism. Can the fly invade the blossom that devours it? A mouth that lies in wait for a gift of life to shower it.
Die by this.
Well, here we go, guys. It is session 118. 150 years ago, you guys crossed paths with a Ventrue who was on his way up. He wasn't young, but he wasn't an ancilly. But nobody could have predicted that innocuous meeting would become the rivalry that we've ended up with today. 50 years ago, at least 4 of you sat in the aftermath of Carthage. You discussed the death of Artemis and wondered how such a powerful vampire could have succumbed to such hatred so deeply that they would have willingly sacrificed their existence to see through the goal. Privately, I know several of you vowed not to fall victim to such hatred. And now, at last, you too have felt the beast of wrath. You've taken it into your arms, and you've made it part of you. Last night, Astartes sacrificed himself rather than humiliate and dishonor the Canaanite that taught him how to grieve again. In return, as a coterie, you have abandoned all caution, and you have mounted an assault on your enemy. One that has every chance of ending all too similar to the ashes of Carthage. And so at last we've come to it. Valeranius, who is no fool, has realized something was seriously wrong with the last-minute addition of the crates. His plan was to overwhelm you guys with the crew of the ship, but Labiena, with one simple ritual, has completely nullified that plan, putting all of the mortal crew to sleep. Instead, he's been forced to go to his backup plan, which now involves considerably more risk for him and his ship. He and his 2 ghouls wait on the deck, a supply of fire and flaming arrows at their fingertips. Now, last session, at the end of the session, we had a surprise round. Labiena had snuck her homunculus Oculus out onto the deck, giving her a view of the action. With her direction, Albina went to shadow form and attempted to emerge on the hatch near the bow of the ship. She was spotted. They've launched 3 flaming arrows at her shadowy form through her nocturne. She has suffered 3 aggravated damage, and we now begin in initiative order. So, Flavia, as the person with the highest initiative, you are under the deck. You can see on your left hand is the ladder that Albina went up, and there is now a seething, writhing mass of darkness over your head. To your right, there is another ladder leading up to the deck. The hatch is closed. Labiena has been describing these things as she sees them. She saw Albina raise the nocturne, and she saw flaming arrows fly into the darkness. And that is the last you've heard. In these few seconds, you have to make a decision. What do you do?
I think her base instinct would command Flavia to stay or seek cover, at least better cover than she has now. Since she's not a fighter and has very mediocre defensive skills, she would be trying to rely on the rest of the group and their capabilities to keep themselves alive, to stay alive herself.
Excellent. So you back out of the way of the ladders. You seek a niche or a cranny or something, a nook amongst the cargo, and you clear the area to allow for easier access to to the ladder under Albina.
Yes.
Okay. Next up are the ghouls. You see Labiana, you see one steps forward and he turns around. His shield is attached to his back. He takes his arrow that he has prepared, he dips it into the fire, lights the tip up, draws it back, and takes an action to aim at the hatch on the stern near the rudder of the ship. The other one moves back a little bit and does the same thing, but he is aiming towards the hatch and the pulsating, writhing mass of darkness. They draw an arrow and they wait for a target to appear. Up next is Labiena. Labiena, I need you to roll a d6 to see how many charges of Hungry Mold you have on you.
Wondering how we were going to play that. Give me a second. Oh, great.
You have 2 jugs of Hungry Mold.
Okay. It would appear a crimp has just been put in Labiena's plan. Because the question is, how do we do this now without being spotted? Those 2 hatches are the only way out onto the deck, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
No possible means of perhaps making a way up onto the deck?
Probably. It would take some time, and but you could bash through the ceiling, perhaps.
I will. It is worth noting that I believe they are mostly focused on Albina right now.
Well, one's focused on the other hatch, so that's the crimp in the plan.
Ah,
I see Labiana was banking on everyone having their attention on Albina, so she'd be able to just peep up the other hatch unnoticed to execute her plan. This has got a lot more difficult. I think what Labiana might do in the meantime is just start making her way to the other hatch, keeping an eye on the action, but she's not going to open it just yet.
Okay, so you're back near the ladder, but you're not going to climb it. You're just kind of waiting for an opportunity to do something.
Exactly.
Okay. Lucius, Caius Scipio, you're up next.
Okay, so this shadow darkness stuff that's around the front exit, does that block the bad guys from seeing us as we come out of the hole?
Yeah, it is incredibly thick. You cannot see anything inside of it. It is a swirling mass of dark, liquid, black shadow, and it is in fact quite scary to even contemplate going up into that. It just, you look at it and you're like, that's danger.
Even though I knew it was something created by my coterie member.
Yes, it is just it's a visceral reaction. Your beast is like, what are you doing? Why are you even considering this? You can make yourself do it. There's nothing physically stopping you from doing this.
And these guys that are sleeping, are any of them within that darkness?
You don't know. If you shout that out to Labiana, she could tell you, yes, there are several who are currently literally drowning in darkness. Albina could tell you the same thing if she could talk in shadow form.
So it's not like I could like peek my head out the hatch, do a quick look around.
Correct.
Or is
It affects you as well. You would stick your head up. It'd be like, imagine putting a whole ton of black dye into a carton of milk and then sticking your head underneath and opening your eyes.
Huh. Oh, there wasn't my idea. I don't know enough about this system.
On the plus side, they can't see into it either.
Well, what I wanted to do was come up on deck and get some gear from one of these guys. Shield, a weapon, something I could use. And I would want to, maybe pass some of that gear down below to anyone who would want it, specifically Flavia, who, needs the extra protection. But, if I can't see what the heck I'm doing.
Well, there is the other hatch.
I guess I have to head that way then.
Okay. You spend your turn running down dodging across all the crowded, over the amphorae, over boxes and bags, and you run up to the hatch next to Labiana. You can emerge onto the deck this turn if you want, or you can stay put and do it next round and be able to move across the deck to one of the sleeping people.
I would hold for this rest of this turn.
Okay. Hatshipsit. As your coterie members are positioning themselves and shouting questions back and forth to each other, especially at Labiana as she has the view of the deck above the ship. As she's telling Lucius, oh, and this corner and this corner are sleeping people. They've got this person's looking here, this person's looking here. So she's shouting these instructions out at you. What are you doing?
Have the animals been summoned?
They have not. So you are summoning animals, birds, correct?
Yep.
Okay, let's do it. Which particular ones are you trying to summon? Just all birds or what?
All like twilight birds. All
Okay.
twilight seabirds.
All twilight seabirds. That's actually quite a bit of them. They're pretty much all predatory for the most part. So we're going to say difficulty 6. So manipulation animal kin.
Charisma survival for
Oh, that's sorry.
animals
Yeah,
and
it's
two others.
commanding. Charisma survival to call them. Yeah.
Oof.
All right, you put out the call. Carried by supernatural means.
And 5 successes means all of them are here. All in the area hear it.
So you guys don't know this, but 45 birds perk up their ears, screech to each other, take off into the air, and begin to circle their way towards the ship. It's going to take them let's roll that. There we go. 6 rounds to get here. 30 seconds. All right. Hatshipsit, you be the round counter. Starting next round, 6 rounds. You tell me when 6
Okay.
is done. Albina, I'm going to roll 3d100 on a 75 or less. The flaming arrows are extinguished by the writhing darkness of your obtenebration. all three of them, woof, 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 fluffed out.
Awesome. I'm going to be using Nightshade to try to create an illusion.
Okay. Obtenebration and Nightshades. Roll Wits plus Occult, difficulty 7. And take into account your wound penalties. And music. How we doing? Very nice.
So, 4 successes with the specialization of Tenebration, I believe, yeah?
Yeah, be 4 successes. All right.
Awesome. I'm going to be trying to, with 4 successes, would I be able to create the illusion of a Blatteskite?
You may create, for each success, you may create one image that is the size of a human or smaller, or you may pool your successes to create one very large illusion. Okay? Yes, you may pool, with 4 successes, you may create that illusion.
I'm going to create an illusion of a Blatteskite and have him written out of the shadows and try to position himself in a way that if the guys had to fire arrows at it, the arrows would be going through it and into the flammable material on the boat.
Okay? Here we go. Here's a nice one. It clambers up out of the deeps, the depths, slides noiselessly over the boat. Its massive form climbing up. There is bundles of rope and goods where these people are sleeping. It's their personal effects for the most part. But there's some spare sails, some sheets, some things like that, where if a flame were to hit it, it would catch fire, and it would be a bad fire. And Valeranius gets an opportunity to see through it this round with a perception alertness roll. He does have Auspex, so it's difficulty 8. For him, as he is using Auspex. Alright, let's open up their character sheets. Here we go. Come on, Roll20, respond to me. Do. Ghoul 1, Ghoul 2, and Vampire. Here we go. Come on, Roll20. There it goes. Okay. Come on. Alright, so Valeranius, for his action, prepares his next arrow, and he activates Majesty. Labiana, this actually does not affect you, as seeing it through the eye of the homunculus is not quite the same as perceiving it in person. However, Albina, this does affect you, and next round when it gets to your illusion, this will affect whether you keep your illusion up if you are still under the effect of His Majesty, as attempting to fool him with that would be extremely disrespectful to one of such majesty, such kingly disposition, that to even contemplate doing so is unthinkable. It's you would rather fall to your knees, your shadowy form, and beg for forgiveness. So, but before I do that, perception alertness. Let's roll that. attribute. Perception. Ability. Alertness. Difficulty 8. Roll. Come on, roll 20. Stop freezing up on me. Wow. Okay, well, he sees through that. Albina, he doesn't seem bothered by that illusion at all, whatsoever. Alright, that's his turn. Flavia. There's a lot of activity underneath, but you don't... No sounds of battle yet. What do? You stay put?
Definitely. Unless he hears something unusual that would spook her out of her hiding place, or if she felt an instinct to move for whatever reason, but as of now, I don't believe she sees the need to move anywhere else yet.
Totally understandable. Alright. The ghouls continue to hold their action, waiting on somebody to pop up. Labiena. You're up.
Feeling like we're going to need a secondary distraction. I'm wondering how likely it's going to be able to send Manicus up through the other hatch, navigate its way through the Nocturne to creep up behind the other guy and maybe grab at his leg or something.
I can try to distract him.
Yeah.
Well, you can run to the other side and kind of, tuck him out into the darkness this round if you want. You can do that.
I'll certainly give it a shot.
All right. So you run back to the other side. Take a couple of steps up the ladder. You climb up the ladder a couple of rungs. Take Manicus out of the folds of your robes, and you just kind of pop the hatch open and go, and shove him out. And then he just kind of rolls out onto the deck. All right. He will act on your turn next round. And he is a foot, correct? Or is he a bird?
No,
believe he's a
Manicus
hand.
sees the hand.
It's the hand.
Yeah. He's gonna do the thing.
Come on, give me a good hand here. Roll 20. Not just hand out. I want hand. Ah, perfect. Right now, he's directly under Albina, but we're going to put him right there for now.
Cool.
Lucius, you're up.
Oh. If I go up that ladder, I get shot with a flaming arrow. If I go up the other ladder, I get shot at with a flaming arrow. What's that red square?
That is essentially a cabin on board the deck. If you look at the ship pictures, that'd be where they keep some of the charts, the captain's cabin, that kind of thing. So it's literally a structure on top of the deck.
Okay.
If you can knock out a hole underneath that and climb up, you'd have a better vantage point, possibly.
I mean, he has obfuscate. He should be able to just climb up without worries.
The only problem is the deck hatch is closed, so he does have to pick that up
Yeah,
to get
exactly.
out.
And that's being guarded.
How hard would it be to cut a hole in the deck?
It's not impossible, but it will take a while.
That's not a viable option. So if I wanna, can I get? This sucks. I don't want to be the first up there because I'll just end up getting perforated with flaming arrows.
Throw something out in front of you.
I mean, is that an option?
I mean, there's plenty of stuff to grab. There's wine, amphora. You could empty one out and like use that as a decoy to like see if it'll distract them. Or there's sleeping people underneath that you could, try to like shove them through the hatch first and see if they take the first arrows.
Oh, that would be a terrible way to wake up.
I will. What do I have to roll to do that?
Strength.
Okay. My strength is
This is
4.
pure strength, and if you have potence, you could add your potence.
What's?
And they might actually wake up here as you are grab them, you drag them out of wherever they've fallen asleep.
I would grab whichever one's closest to the ladder.
Okay, and I mean they're not even on here. You just grab. They're there. There's plenty of them.
Dice.
They have to fight against the magical influence, so diff 9. Holy shit. 2 dice, 1 rolls a 10. Alright, you grab the one guy, and you drag him over to the ladder, and he starts going, what the fuck? And he starts, like, kind of struggling a little bit, like, what the hell are you doing? Let me go! He's still pretty, like, out of it. So, give me a strength plus potence roll at difficulty 8 to just hoist him up on your shoulder and just shove him through the hatch.
Okay, so strength plus
Potence, difficulty 8, because he's not making it easy on you. You need 2
With this-
successes.
I imagine you can spend blood to get the auto success on the potence, yes?
Yes, he can. However,
Okay.
Lucius,
I'm trying to.
I'm going to, as you have common sense, I need to caution you. Due to your restriction, you're kind of low on blood, and you need to think very carefully about that resource.
I'm trying to find potence on this drop
It
down
would be a
list.
discipline if you have it.
I have it on my list. It's just not showing on this drop down list.
So it's just...
Oh, never mind. I'm looking at ability.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So the roll would be strength, and then it'd say, what discipline do you want? Plus discipline. Or you could add just bonus dice to it.
It's number 7. Strength plus discipline 7.
Yep. At difficulty 8.
Difficulty 8. Then just click roll, right?
Correct.
Ugh.
Okay, 1 success. Not quite enough. You get him up there, and you bump the hatch, and it just goes kind of kabump bump, kabump bump, as you're trying to shove him up there, and he's got his hands up. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing? Let me go!" When he bumped the hatch, though, they didn't fire the arrow, but you do next round. It'll be much easier because he's already up. You just got to finish shoving him out of the way. So next round will be much easier. Hatchepsit. This is 5 more rounds till your birds get here. You don't know that,
Yep.
but yeah.
First off, going to point to Flavia, and tell her if she can work up enough courage to start throwing random objects onto the deck through one of the holes. She doesn't have to go up there. Just if she can throw on stuff as a distraction, that would be lovely. Then to Labiana, I'm going to suggest, if she can't think of anything else, ending one of these guys and raising them as a servant to throw out in front of us. And then for my main action, popping 3 blood to buff my strength. 1 blood to activate Typhon's Maw, or whatever Serpentis 2 is called. I actually forget.
I believe it is Typhon's Maw.
With directions from Labiana going roughly beneath where one of the 2 active guards is, and just swinging my mace as hard as I can underneath it. I'm not, even if I don't, if not actually breaking through, then at least hopefully making an impact that is felt.
Lucius, I need you to roll courage as Hatshepsut takes her mace, she unwraps the leather wrappings around it, and it bursts into flames next to you.
I thought I was by myself.
She has moved over here. So she is within 10 feet, maybe 15 feet of you. And now there is
I
a
did not know
flaming
that.
mace in the darkness.
Okay, so what do I gotta roll?
Roll your courage at difficulty 5.
Courage, difficulty 5. Roll.
Okay, excellent. You are startled, but you are not. The beast does not take over. So you just go, what? Oh shit! Fire!
I have a dude, what the fuck moment.
Yep. So you smash the wood underneath. No discernible effect, although it does use a charge of your fire. It does, and it leaves a scorch mark.
Doesn't by chance at least unsteady the guy above a little?
Well, let's see if he notices. Open up, open up, open up, open up. Character sheet. Dice. Perception alertness. We're going to make his difficulty 8, but there's no penalty if he fails or botches this. Because he's trying to feel this through some pretty thick planking.
Where's a chainsaw when you need it?
A chainsaw would be the perfect item for this.
Oh, too bad they haven't been invented yet.
Yeah. Just cut through it in 2 rounds.
Quick, someone get Ash to come here. Yeah.
Yeah, he feels a thump under his feet. He's like, what the fuck? Oh well.
And that just reminds me as well, because I've activated Typhon's Maw, I can actually use a second attack with the tongue.
Okay.
Would you say that I'm able to make slightly more progress with that? Slightly more progress on top of the mace with that?
I would like you to roll damage. Strength plus weapon and your strength for both attacks. You are attempting to begin chipping away at the deck underneath. It has a stamina that it can soak all of these attacks. But you do not have to roll the attack, just roll your straight damage. It can't actually fight back.
Okay, strength plus... I believe a mace is +4, right? Or is it +3?
Mace? You know, I should have opened up that file before we got started. You'd think I'd know to do that. You'd think I'd have been on top of that. Weapons and armor. Nice. Hatchet. Club. Mace. Strength +2 lethal.
Okay. So... in this case... I don't know... Can wood take aggravated damage, even?
Well, it's built to withstand certain things. This isn't...
Yeah.
This isn't...
But, does it register...
Technically, it's not aggravated.
Yeah. Does it register a difference? Is what I mean. Yeah.
No, it does not register a difference.
Okay. So so make the first roll.
Well, here's what I'll say. It actually makes the attack effective.
That is 9 successes.
Outstanding.
Um, and I believe the tongue is also supposed to be normally aggravated, but I don't know. Would that really apply in the same way, considering like?
Yeah, again, it doesn't. It's like attacking it with a sword. It's something sharp, and it just kind of hits.
Okay, so
Yeah.
do I still roll damage?
Yes, roll damage.
And for this one, I would also like to spend a willpower to add on a feat of strength after the fact.
Okay, sure.
So first damage roll 4, and then roll my temporary willpower. I believe it is at diff 8.
Yep.
Additional 3.
All right. So that's 5. So that's 14, and he rolled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9. You took a pretty significant chunk of wood out. That mace roll, you targeted a rafter and you hit it just right, and you went kabam, and it cracks. And then with a targeted attack, you grab it, you do a little muscle up, and you get right to your mouth, and that your face just tends. And Lucius, you're just close enough that you can see this by the light of a flaming mace. Hatshepsut's normally beautiful, placid, motherly face becomes snake-like, and her jaw unhinges, and it flaps open, and her teeth get huge, and her tongue snaps out like it's just like the forked tongue of the snake, and then she goes, and you see another big chunk of wood just go, and it falls off, and you actually see the rafter go and cracks again. Another attack like that, and it's done. She will have busted through.
I wonder if that guy is starting to notice now.
Yes. Well, you don't know, but something like that is probably pretty noticeable.
Yeah, I'm basically aiming for an almost horror movie thing next round of just pulling him through.
Yep. And that's going to be that would be amazing. Albina. First things first. They have not released their arrows, and you are under the effect of majesty.
I'm going to be trying to resist it. Can I use another willpower point to get an auto success?
No. It is spend a willpower and roll your remaining willpower at difficulty 8.
I believe it is courage.
No. It is courage to simply stand up to him.
Oh, okay.
But to ignore the majesty, you have to roll the willpower.
Fuck.
It fails. You attempted to throw it off. Your illusion goes away. You can no longer even contemplate doing something so disrespectful. As does your nocturne. It pops out. Gone. What do you do?
Am I able to slit it down back the hole to the hold?
Yes, you can. You can scurry back. You are no longer on the deck. You slither back through the opening. And you feel internally, how could you have done something to Valeranius? You must retreat in shame. Just even contemplating what you have done is enough to make you just shrivel up and just be like, I can't actually attack this guy. He is too much. He's too powerful. He's too great. What have I done?
I started to deserve what happened to him after what he did to Valeranius. What she's doing now is adding salt to the wound. Unacceptable.
Yes, excellent. Valeranius, it is his turn. He calls out. Come up! Come forth! Beg for forgiveness and I might spare your lives. Come up! I need everybody to make a perception plus alertness roll at difficulty 8. Because he's trying to penetrate through the deck of the ship. So you might not actually hear him. And if you are using your auspex, do apply your bonus to that, please.
Okay.
Okay, so perception plus what?
Alertness.
Alertness.
Plus alertness. And what about auspex?
If you're using your auspex bonus, it is now difficulty 7 instead of difficulty 8.
Oh shit! I forgot about that. Ignore that first roll. I forgot to change the difficulty. Well, actually, let's see how many.
Perception
roll?
plus alertness.
Uh,
Difficulty 7.
7, right?
Yes.
So if I have
That's actually-
auspex, I roll it at 7.
Yeah, if you're using your auspex. You don't have to be using it right now, but I don't see why you wouldn't be using it.
Okay.
Okay, so for me, that roll then would be 3 successes instead of 5 at div 7.
Okay. You are now affected by His Majesty. You hear him, you're aware of his presence, and you can feel the power of his words. Of course, you can't actually respond at this moment, but your next round, Lucius Caius, you also feel the power of his words roll through your soul. How dare you think about disobeying his order to just come up and beg at his feet for forgiveness? Yes, Labiana, at your action, you do get a chance to resist. You will get a chance to spend your willpower and attempt to resist the power of his words. Flavia, you as well. Albina, you are not affected by... Well, you are. You're already affected by His Majesty. You just didn't hear him. So, Hatshepsut, Flavia, Labiana, Lucius, all of you, feel him, feel his words. Come up, beg. Flavia, you're up. Do you wish to resist the supernatural charisma and power of Valeranius?
Yeah, I think Flavia would at least want to try.
All right. BSP, if you would be so kind as to spend a point of willpower for Flavia and roll her remaining willpower at difficulty 8. Yes, Flavia, as a Toreador, you are familiar with presence. You recognize what's happening to you, and you fall to your knees, and you're no! No! And you try to steel your will against it. And with a grunt of human effort, no, I will not do it! And you feel the urge to submit to Valeranius leave you as you throw off his supernatural power with one success. You still have an opportunity to take an action. Do you stay down, or do you get angry and do something?
I think at this point, now that she's free to act, she'd try to summon up her strawweight courage and try to look for things of viable weight and size that she could use to throw through the opening above her.
There is plenty. There's clay jars full of wine. There's bags of goods. There's sleeping people. They have their possessions next to them. There's all kinds of stuff you can just reach out and grab.
Okay. She'd probably start with the clay. There's no need to waste fine wine for
Okay.
now, anyway.
It's mass-produced wine as it is. So you grab it. Maybe perhaps that's olive oil. You don't know. You hoist the heavy jug. Get it up to the ladder, and give me a strength roll to get it through, and then they will roll to see if they are distracted and to let loose their arrow.
Is it strength at 6?
Yes, diff 6 is fine, because it's not fighting you, it's just there. Okay. Labiana, you see the ghoul facing that hatch on the bow side. Goes, nope, and holds the arrow. Does not quite let go. It doesn't quite get him. And the clay jug rolls across this gently rocking deck. They still hold their action, waiting. Labiana, the words have taken hold of your soul. What do you do?
Well, at this point, given everything that they've gone through at this point, she would definitely try to resist.
You know what to do.
She's like, no, we've come too far for this. Oh, there. If 8, you said, wasn't it?
Yes, it is book difficulty 8. And Lucius, you are well aware of this tactic. This is how Ventrue wear out the willpower of anyone who would oppose them. They hit them with presence, hit them with presence, hit them with presence, and when you're too weak by the assault, that's when they roll in with the words of dominate and command. Labiana, you too. Fuck this guy. He is not above you. He is not worthy of such a power. You throw it off.
So I could continue trying to shove that dude up through the hatch?
Labiana, you do get an action.
Now, I was going to say, at this point, what's Manicus doing?
What do you want him to do? You have to mentally direct him. He's just up there at the moment.
I need to figure out what kind of a distraction Manicus might be able to do.
So if you want to, your last direction is to go distract the ghoul. So mentally, you're just kind of like, run. 1, 2, 3. That's about as close as he gets right now.
Alright. So, whilst he's doing that, or was that my action, just telling... Oh,
Nope,
well,
that's not an action. That's just a mental, do this.
That's right, because I gave him that action when I set him up. I did have an idea. I don't know how easy this might be to execute. Given that there... Well, actually, what's a rough count about of how many crew members are asleep down below with us?
Probably 35.
Okay.
You'd somewhere between 30 and 35, you'd think.
I was about to say, how easy would it be to just slit their throats or something? Not all of them.
They are unresisting. You can do 2 a round.
The only thing I'd be worried about is the blood, though. But still. Because she's got the idea of, once killing them, utilizing them, setting them up as cannon fodder.
That's a fantastic idea. I cannot argue with that.
Presume I'd only be able to do 1 per turn?
You can, well, the first, we're going to say 2 rounds, you can do 2. You can get 4 people in 2 rounds. Because they're all
Okay.
There's not a lot of room, because most of the room is taken up by cargo, right? So they kind of sleep packed together. They're really close.
Where's... I'm just wondering if I risk using the shambling hordes or just use the seal of other mixture, knowing that they're probably not going to be able to reach them before they're destroyed anyway. But does it kind of try and waste their arrows? think I'll do the seal of a mixture. Better chance of success, obviously.
Okay.
Right, so she's gonna kill the first two.
All right. So this round, you whip out your knife, go up to a couple sleeping crew members, and just slit their throats. They wake up, blood pouring out, and they just kind of look at you like, and their light begins to fade as it takes a few seconds to. For them to die. They look at you, and you look at them, and you're like, oh, that's perfect. Excellent. Blood pouring out all over the floor. Lucius, you're up. Give me a strength roll. Strength plus potence, difficulty 6. Well, first off, do you resist the presence? Before we do that.
Oh, yes.
Alright, spend a point of willpower, and then roll your remaining temporary willpower points at difficulty 8.
Okay, so how do I do that?
So you go to your willpower on your main sheet, click off one of the boxes. Not the circles, one of the boxes.
One of the boxes. Okay.
Yep. And then go to your dice, and then
Dice.
hit temporary willpower and make it diff 8.
Diff 8, then hit roll.
Yep.
Nope.
No, you attempt to push through it, and you cannot. He is too great. He is Ventru. It has been ingrained in you that when someone does this, an Ventru of your elder, a Ventru older than you, a Ventru your elder, does this, you obey. You drop the guy, just get out of here, and he just hits the ground. Oh God! Who cares if he broke a bone or something, getting thrown off that ladder? You are under His Majesty. He said, step forth and beg for forgiveness. To do otherwise would be unthinkable. So please describe what you do.
That means I have to do what he says, right?
You must.
Well, shit. Well, I gotta do what I gotta do. I would basically slowly open the hatch, hold up my hands like, don't shoot me. I would come out onto the deck, and I would basically go down to my knees and commence groveling, I guess, to beg for my life and beg for forgiveness.
Yes. Excellent. He, with nary a word, just kind of points at you to get a little bit out of the way of his archer, and you crawl over to clear the sight line. Hatchips it. 4 rounds to go, and you are under the effect of Majesty. What do you do?
I tried to resist, first of all.
Spend a point of willpower and roll your remaining willpower at diff 8.
Alright. I want to take a slightly different tack with this next action. This is going to sound a bit weird, but bear with me. Drawing a bit closer to the porthole to make my voice carry through more clearly, I am going to start insulting Valeranius viciously. Ideally, with a roll to try and come up with something that, from what I've gathered of him, might particularly tick him off. And basically, I'm going to see if I can provoke him into frenzy.
Okay. Roll your charisma plus expression at difficulty 6.
Is there a chance that eloquent would apply?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
You're not trying to persuade him or charm him. You're trying to just insult the fuck out of him.
And I've already spent a willpower this round, so I can't spend another, can I?
Correct.
Ah, shit. Oh well.
He just smiles.
Well then, I'll just go back to wailing on the thing. On the emerging hole.
Well, your action is to come up with appropriately creative insults.
Yeah, but it doesn't stick, sadly.
Yep.
But
You don't know that he's responded to it yet, but you don't hear anything, so you're like, it probably didn't work. So, Albina, still in shadow form,
would have been
Hatshepsut has the gall to hurl vile, vicious insults at the one who holds sway over your soul at the moment.
Abner, you silence Hatshepsut by crawling up to her, sliding up to her face and trying to cover her mouth with shadows, with her shadows.
Right. Hatshepsut, Albina slowly makes her way over, crawls up your form, the cold, supernatural, freezing cold enveloping your body, and she wraps around your head, putting that obtenebration crap inside of you, into your mouth, into your throat, over your eyes. Roll courage for me. You have been in this before, so it's only going to be difficulty 4, but it's incredibly unexpected. Excellent. But now it's just like, what the fuck?
could I potentially get one line out through the
Yes, absolutely.
shit?
As she envelops your face, what do you do?
I'm just going to ask her, is this the pride of La Sombra?
Wow. Valeranius is going to spend 6 blood points to improve his dex. So his initiative's going to go up. And he's going to look at Lucius and say, Lucius, I recognize you now. Go downstairs and take care of those who are attacking my ship for me.
Do I have to?
Yes, you do. He didn't say how to do it. It's up to you how you do it. But you have to go do it.
Okay. I guess I go back downstairs.
It's not your action yet, so...
Alright.
Flavia, you're up next. That's literally his action, is giving you orders. That's his action.
Well, at this point in time, seeing that Lucius has basically become Valeronius's bitch, she would become very unsettled and probably play a little bit of hide and seek and try to find cover once again.
Okay. Perfectly understandable. Valeranius is up. Hatchet, you are summoned. You must go up on board on the deck and approach him and make him aware that you acknowledge his summons. You must during your action. Unless you spend a point of willpower and attempt to throw it off.
Here's a question. Do I necessarily have to try and go up through the currently existing portals?
Well, let's see how quickly you feel you have to obey. That's a good question. Because that will, how many successes he gets will influence how quickly you must respond. So that's a good question. We're going to roll his Charisma Subterfuge. You have been affected by His Majesty before, so it's diff 5. Here we go. Main dice pools, add. Summon. Charisma. Subterfuge. Difficulty 5. Roll. With 4 successes, you come with haste. You will step over anyone or anything in your way to get there as quickly as you possibly can.
So probably not continuing to bash through the ceiling.
Correct. On 2 successes, 1 or 2, then yes, absolutely, you could have taken your time to bash through it and approach your way. With 4, no, you must take the easier route. It's up to you which way you go. And of course, you can attempt to throw it off, but you feel the summons. You must come.
Okay.
All right. His ghouls continue. However, this one, actually, you know what? They're not going to do anything yet. Labiena, you are up. Manicus approaches this one, tries to get on his leg, and he's like, "What the? Hey!" He kind of freaks him out, and he takes his held action to try to kick it off of him off the ship. So the good news is that he just lost all the bonus dice he got from aiming.
Nice.
The bad news is you just lost a homunculus. Unless something goes horribly, horribly wrong with his dice roll.
Oh, there'll be plenty more where that came from. She's not terribly worried.
Yeah. Manicus goes sailing off the ship into the water.
She's already preparing Manicus too. Well, she will at some point anyway.
So, these 2 men have bled out at your feet. There's still a few twitching, but they are, for all intents and purposes, dead.
Dead. Okay, so I believe this round I will need to make the roll.
Okay, you raise with Sila Abramexitra. Blah, 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 blah. Roll wits plus occult and spend 1 blood point.
Hold on. So 1 blood. It's called Stiff 7, wasn't it?
Correct.
Correctly. Yeah. There we go.
Excellent. Both corpses jerk up, empty eyes, ready to respond. What do you tell them to do? It must be a simple, straightforward command.
See. Well. I don't know if something like go up the portal and approach the 3 men.
How many necromancy do you have? 4?
4. They'll have 2
All right.
physical stats each.
And health levels are okay, -1, -3. All right. All right, so you tell them what?
That could have been a shambling horde roll. Anyway, basically I'm just going to tell them to go up that porthole.
Okay. They jerk to their feet, walk up, climb the ladder. Give me some people. Give me some people. Come on, roll 20. Give me some people to put up. Perfect. They both
Emily,
clamber up.
next time.
Clamber up to the ladder and just sort of collapse. And they've fulfilled your instructions, so they collapse.
Yeah, I was worried about that.
But they're up and on the deck, and I need to roll to see if he accidentally fires his arrows off at them. He does not. He manages to successfully go, "What?" And you hear some confused shouting. "What are you doing? What are you doing? Clear the area! What's going on down there?" So you hear there's some confused shouting. You can see that your tactics are beginning to confuse them. Hatshepsut, what round is this? How many you got left? 3 or 2?
3.
Okay. You are summoned. And you have a cloud of inky blackness wrapped around your head.
Yeah, am I able to even move, actually?
You are blind.
Move
You are
away?
effectively blind. You're not restrained in any way. You're just blind.
Okay, so basically I just... Well, in that case, I don't know. Do I really know the way to get up, even if I do feel compelled to?
You must try. You are at... Roll your dexterity plus athletics, and you are at a +2 difficulty because you're blind. So it's difficulty 8 to find your way to a ladder. And would you like high or low? Actually, you know what? I'm just going to say if I roll low, you go left. If I roll high, you go right. All right, you are headed to the right. So you're headed to where Lucius went up.
Alright.
Completely blind. Just trying to speak, all muffled and shit. You head to the ladder, and you begin to climb up. Hatshepsut climbs up out of the hatch. Lucius, as you see her coming up, what do you do? She's blinded. She resisted. She was attacking the ship. She's a target. What do you do?
What was the exact wording of the order I got from Valeranius?
Take care of them. And the meaning is quite clear. Make it stop. Hurt them, whatever it takes.
Oh,
Well, technically I have stopped.
yeah, she's stumbling. She's not attacking currently.
It's your emotions, not your mind. You want to obey him. How do you obey him? You want to obey him. Well, let's make this perfectly clear. How do you obey him? You're not looking for ways to get out of this. But your mind is clear. It's your heart. It belongs to him. If you think she is no longer a threat, you may safely ignore her. But if you don't think she's no longer a threat, you must do something to her.
I would ask her, have you stopped attacking?
Woof.
Oh, you don't seem like you're attacking. You don't seem like a threat.
Yeah.
So, if it's not a threat, then I don't need to attack them.
Okay, so you're going to head downstairs then. So you're back under the deck. And the only two left down there are Labiana, and Flavia. So that's your action, though, is to get down there and to take stock of the situation.
Okay.
Albina, do you just continue to stay on her?
Actually, does she have to make any kind of roll from the note I made just before she covered my face?
I don't think so. Actually, you know what? Yeah, to not more attack you. Albina, she just insulted the fuck out of you.
Should I do a self-control roll?
Yeah, and this isn't a frenzy roll, but if you fail, then you're like, okay, now I must punish you.
What the difficulty?
4. Okay, you must
Oh my!
punish her.
Albina before is merely choking the words in her mouth, but now she's going to let herself manifest tentacles and try to have them wrap around Red Shepsuit and crush her, give her not crush her literally, but break a few bones.
Okay. So go ahead and make your roll to summon the tentacles, and then you keep track of how many there are, and they emerge from you, and they get to act
Yeah.
next round.
There is an upshot to this for me. Actually, more things between me and the arrows.
Yeah, I actually forgot to have them fire at you when you came up. That was literally my oversight. I forgot to have them shoot you.
No, this may be dumb, but now I've got a cocoon of shadows against the arrows.
All right, so we are back to the beginning. Flavia, do you continue to hide?
Well, she's not compelled to go up. Is she able to see who all is down, still left in the belly of the
Yes.
ship with
You see
her?
Labiena, covered in blood. You see Lucius, who has just now climbed down and has affixed you with a look of, I'm sorry I have to do this, but I have to do this. And you know he's coming for you.
Well, as she hasn't taken any physical action against Valeronius, she is partially convinced that Lucius won't hurt her. So she steps out from her hiding place / cover hesitantly, and she just kind of spreads her arms open as if she was going to hug him, sort of like a greeting gesture, but also showing him that she has no weapons and that she is ready to cooperate.
Okay.
But I think in the corner of her eye, she would catch Labiena looking hurt, and she wouldn't take a step towards Lucius, but she would continue stealing
Flavia?
peeks in that direction.
What is your presence level? It's at least 2, is it not?
3.
3? I'm going to make a suggestion for you. You hold your actual action. If Lucius comes to you and fails his self-control roll, as you have common sense, I'm going to make this suggestion. You hold the action Dread Gaze. If he actually attacks you, you will still get the ability to Dread Gaze him this round and attempt to scare him off.
A question: what would take precedence? Take priority? Entrancement or majesty?
Majesty.
So she could not just entrance him to not attack her either.
Correct. But the Dread Gaze could temporarily scare him into not attacking or make it much harder for him to attack. As you get a dice penalty if the Dread Gaze is successful. Right? You give your opponent a dice penalty to attack.
Question.
Okay?
You said he'd only have to deal with those he viewed as a threat.
Valeronius sees as a threat. Anybody, the coterie, if they will no longer be a threat when they are on board the deck and have indicated physically and verbally their submission to him. That's when they're no longer a threat.
Wasn't the impression I got, but okay.
Now, how you make them do that's up to you.
I don't see how he'd see Flavia as a threat. you insist.
I didn't say you have to cut her head off. You can grab her and just like shake some sense into her. You stupid dumb woman, get your ass up there and tell him, beg his forgiveness. You can do that. It's up to you. How you get the ability to interpret his action, to interpret that command. But until they have completely submitted to him, they're a threat. As they would be a threat to you if they were attacking your ship and put your crew to sleep and are slicing the throats of your crew.
He would not be rough with her.
So I'm just saying that's the aegis that you are acting under. You can't just ignore her and be like, oh, she's not a threat. Well, until she proves to Valeranius she's not a threat, she's a threat. She's not supposed to be here. Valeranius is going to hold his action and wait. His ghouls are launching arrows into Hatchetson. They are launching... they are doing the multi-attack hail of arrows.
Oh, never mind. I'll stick around then. Is there any chance of them hitting the arms?
The arms have not wrapped around you yet, but there is a chance that they might hit Albina. As this is a multi-attack action, which happens at the same time, they can launch as many arrows as they have dots in archery until it reaches difficulty 9. You cannot attack at difficulty 10 with a multi-attack. However, he gets, for this roll, this is 3 rounds he's been aiming. He gets extra dice for that one. So the first flaming arrow hits you. Are you wearing armor?
1 level of it.
Okay. By wrapping it up in cotton and setting it alight, it ignores 1 dice of your armor instead of the 2 that it normally has. So, it hits you and will inflict aggravated plus 2 lethal.
Mm-hmm.
His next roll, boom, launches another one, hits you again, ignores your armor, hits, and last one misses. And then he knocks and ready. So I have to roll. So it's 1 ag, and only 1, plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One ag plus 1, 2, 3, 4, soak 5 lethal. And if you have fortitude, you can soak the fire as well with your fortitude.
I do not.
So you suffer 1 aggravated damage from fire. And you get to roll courage now at difficulty 7 because you were on fire.
I soak the 4 lethal.
1, 2, 3. So you take 1 lethal and 1 ag.
And what's the courage roll at?
Diff 7. You are on fire. And I got to roll for Ghoul 1 as well. Combat dice. Do. Alright, well, with that roll, you do not frenzy. And he is also going to do the multi-attack. That's a lot. Oh, shit, that was supposed to be diff 8. I'm going to reroll that one. Diff 9. Alright, so he 2 hits you twice. The first attack does 1 ag and 4 extra successes. I take that back. He's got archery specialty, so 5, 6, he did 7, so 6 extra successes. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you take 1 more ag plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Roll to soak 5 more lethal damage. Again, no armor because it penetrates your armor.
Soak 3, so is that 2
So you
remaining?
take 2 from that one. So how many damage total have you taken? 2 ag plus 3 lethal?
Yeah.
Alright, so you are taking 5 total damage then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Labiana, you're up, and you hear, and you see the arrows as they do the Legolas thing, where they just rapid fire a couple arrows, then they get another one, and they are not flaming at the moment. They don't have a time to dip it into the fire and light them up, but they do have arrows
Okay.
ready to go.
I presume at this point they're both facing Hatshepsut, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, this one actually would have turned back, so they've returned, so they're now facing in their normal directions. But
Damn
neither
it.
one of them has a flaming arrow.
I was going to say, I wonder how quickly Labiena would have been able to just quickly pop her head up and try and start ditching the...
Say that this takes place pretty much in the
Mole.
same time, so you can pop your head up as they're launching. They've taken their action this round. They can't act again. So you can throw a vial of hungry mold and not worry about eating an arrow this round.
I was wondering, should I waste them on the ghouls or just start directing them at Valeranius?
Go for Valeranius.
Well, that was the plan.
Okay.
I think she's going to give that a shot.
All right. You pop up. You know it's safe. You hear the arrows. And you're like, oh shit, my chance. You jump up, grab a vial. You see Valeronius. He's partially hidden behind the mast in the center. And he's got a bodyguard with a shield on his back. So you take aim. You're going to throw his ass at him. Diff 9.
Just
May I-
realised something. I haven't had the well, it's probably too late for this, but I probably should have blood buffed.
You can spend your
For
blood and
this?
buff before you make the roll.
Okay. Because I've still got plenty of blood. Let's see.
I also suggest spending a willpower.
Yeah, I probably will too. Now, let me see. How many blood per turn have I got again?
With, I think, your 7th gen? I think you can spend 5.
I believe I'm 6th gen now.
Ah, then you should be able to spend 6 per round.
Hashtag Diablery. Yep, okay, so. Now she knows she's going to need. For the throw, it's Dex, isn't it?
Yes, Dex Athletics.
Okay. I'm wondering if she should use it all on Dexterity.
Yeah. Slam that blood into your Dex.
That'll take me all the way up to 9.
Yep, and then next round you will be to your normal max plus 1, so that'll be, as a 6th gen, that'll be 8 Dex.
2, 3.
Wait, how much does that raise your Dex, by the way, from your normal? From your normal. What's your normal Dex?
3.
So you'll be at 8, so you gain 5. Okay.
But next round.
So, yeah, go ahead. So you're at 9 at the moment.
Okay, Dex.
So you pop up,
Dex Athletics. Throw the mold.
pop up.
Did you say Diff 9?
Yep, diff 9, just because of his cover that he's under.
Yeah. And I will be spending a willpower on this too.
Abso-freaking-lutely. Cappadocian fastball coming up.
Here we go.
On the plus side, you two are partially undercover because you have 2 corpses in front of you. That's all you needed. You launch that thing, a little bit of sidearm twist, woof, and it smacks against his belly, and you see it spread against his the outfit that he's wearing. And you see him reach down and grab his clothes, and you hear this as he just tears his clothes off, and exposing a plate across his belly, armor on his right arm, and there's a plate across his back. This is equivalent to level 3 armor, but there's a lot of gaps in it. So you can make a called shot and get around the gaps in his armor. So if you look at that picture I put in the Discord pictures, if you ignore the helmet, that's essentially what he's wearing. But he just rips it off, just grab, and you hear it rip, and he throws it. Hatshepsut, you've been hurt badly.
Should have used my celerity. Oh, too late.
Would I be able to? Would I have a rough sense of where the mold is? Would I have heard
No.
the jar break?
No, unfortunately not.
Okay. In that case, I think I'm going to spend a willpower to ignore wound penalties for the round. I'm going to dash forward to where I know roughly Valeranius is, and I'm going to go to sink my jaws in him.
Okay. So first you have to grapple him.
Typhon's Maw, I can just bite.
Oh, excellent. Okay. Typhon's Maw. You are blinded, so you're at a +2 difficulty. All actions while blind are at +2. And I just want to look up the roll that you have to make. Serpentis. Okay. Gonna make a Dex Brawl roll at difficulty 8, and he is going to.
Oh, I would also like to burn 6 blood into Dex.
You can only go to 3 over your max Dex level for whatever your generation is.
Ah, okay. So
That is the absolute limit that you can pump it in a round. Is the 3 over, and then the next round it goes back down to 1 over.
Okay. Okay, so pump 3 then.
Okay. He's going to attempt to dodge you as his held action. Actually, I take that back. He's not. He's just going to attempt to meet you with his blade. Labiana, yes. As long as you are above the deck, as long as your head is above it and you can see him, you can do it. So he is hitting you with his Dex plus melee. On the plus side, even if you weren't, if you were under his majesty, the fact that he just attacked you would have broken it.
Either way, I suspect one way or another, soon I won't have to worry about His Majesty ever again. One way or another.
Yeah. Okay, with 8. So with 9 total successes, you rush forward, jaw extended, blackness over your face, tentacles waving around your head. He just sidesteps and he takes his blade and he whap! Just whacks you with it. Rolling his damage. Strength plus potence plus 7 plus 2.
Am I able to get my damage in or no?
No, he sidestepped you. But it's not +7 though, because you had 3, he had 8, so it's 5. So strength +4 plus potence +2 for the sword. So 4, 8, 10, 14. And he hasn't blood buffed or spent blood to make his potence automatic. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 lethal. But on the plus side, you get your dot of armor.
Alright. I take 2 lethal.
Okay? What does that put you on the damage chart?
Torpor.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Hatchet, he smacks you wham with that blade, cuts deeply across your back and side, exposes bone glinting. And because you're blind, he just kind of pushes you off with your momentum and you bounce off of the center mast and just tumble down.
Sorry, Astartes. I did my best.
Hatchet, you are out of the fight.
And I need to go get some water, so I'll
Excellent.
be right back.
Lucius.
Yeah.
Take care of them. How do you do it? You see Flavia step forward, your friend, your companion from many years ago. Talk some sense into her. Do something. Make her stop this foolish course of action.
I would tell her to go up the ladder, get down on her knees, and try to be as unintimidating as possible and beg forgiveness.
Make a charisma plus expression roll. At difficulty 6. Flavia, if he succeeds, you can attempt to ignore it, or you will be moved and you will have to go. With one, he had 1 success. Flavia, how do you react to this? As you are about to, it's about to be your turn. So how do you react? Your friend is begging you to go up and save your life.
Well, things are happening not the way she hoped with the rest of the coterie. Some have gotten hurt. Most of them are nowhere nearby, so she's hesitant and anxious at this point, but she's trying not to show either, doing her best. She will not resist these suggestions. She just kind of stands there, waiting to be escorted by Lucius
All right.
to go above the deck.
Lucius and Flavia, next round, when it gets to Lucius's turn, the two of you will emerge onto the deck, being escorted out. Albina.
Would the attacks against Hatshepsut cause the Majesty to break?
No, because it didn't attack you.
So she's going to proceed to, well, seeing that the respectful one has been taught her place, she's going to slither back down to the hold.
So you begin to slither back through the cracks, down into the, down into the deck. All right. We're going to, the two ghouls alight to their arrows and take their aim action, getting ready. Valeranius straightens himself out, cleans the blood off his blade real quick, and he is going to summon Labiena.
Oh boy. Better start praying to the dice gods, I guess.
Shaman. Shaman. Come on. There it goes. With 5 successes, you let nothing stand in your way. You must get there right now. How do you react? He sends forth the supernatural call. Labiana.
Yep. With that strong a summon, is it possible to try and resist?
Yes, it is.
Right.
Spend a point of willpower and then roll your remaining at difficulty 8.
Going through my willpower at this point.
Adventure gonna venture.
I gotta try. Otherwise, this will have all been in vain. Damn.
Oh, you may no longer attempt to resist his presence the rest of the night. However, since you're not under Majesty, you're just compelled to pop up and make your way over.
It might be a blessing in disguise, actually.
So when you
Now
pop
that I
up,
think about it.
you know what? I take that rewind. You are not summoned. You put that willpower back. I forgot to put the order since you spent your blood. Labiana, you are now top of the initiative order. We're going to rewind that. I forgot.
Oh,
Yes, you are now top of the initiative order. You are moving at incredible speed and reaction time.
okay, hold on. So you said to put the
Yes, you're back to willpower 3.
willpower 3. Right, now. You also mentioned, you said I was going to go down to Dex 8. Is that right?
Yes, which that's
Yep.
already been accounted for. So
Oh, I was just going to change it on the sheet.
yep. So yeah, you're at Dex 8.
There we go. Because I was 3 plus 6 initially. But, alright. So... So did I still have to roll? Do I have to redo the roll to resist? Or am I doing this action before Valeranius
Sorry.
tries to summon?
This is top of the round. You have not been summoned.
Okay, right. So I figure this is probably my only chance. She might have to try and throw this second jug of hungry mold and try and aim at his head.
Do it.
All right. Because of his cover, you can't actually aim at his head because it's more than diff 10.
Oh. Right, okay. So that if she aims at the same spot, there's a chance some of it will get through those holes?
Yes, it's going to hit him if you hit it diff 9. Well, targeted attack makes it diff 10, but we'll see what your dice roll.
Yeah. Alright, now... Let's see.
Given the gaps in his armor, I would basically say it's going to hit his flesh no matter what you do.
Okay. Here we go.
Because they're not really
Not
meant
using willpower this time.
not really meant to defend against a cup of thrown liquid stuff. It's
Yeah,
meant to
exactly.
defend against a blade. All right, it hits him, and he just kind of looks like, what the hell? And he gets to roll forward. What's the difficulty to soak with fortitude for that? It's a 6 or 8?
Hang on. Crap, I need to find... Now, I have that book open. So this will take a moment to find it.
It should be on your rituals.
Rituals. Hang on, wrong ritual sheet. There it is. High cleanse. Page 198. Okay.
Well, unless it's diff 5, he takes a level of ag damage. So,
But suffers dice of aggravated damage equal to the total cups that made contact.
so 1. Oh, he suffers 1 dice of ag
And-
damage.
Yeah,
Okay, so roll.
dice of aggravated
Yep.
damage. But reduces by 1 until the magic is spent.
Yep. So
Each turn.
roll 1d10, and
Alright.
we'll see if it. You know what? Don't even roll it. He takes an ag.
Okay.
I think as a magic ritual, yes, he takes an ag damage. So he just and it somehow gets through his fortitude as it corrodes at his flesh and eats part of the skin away. He's like, you can tell, like, oh god, that hurt. Okay. Flavia, you and Lucius had that conversation, so you know what you're doing next. The 2 ghouls light up their arrows. Valeranius summons Labiena, which I will make that roll again, even though there's no dice penalty to it. Yep, again 5 successes, okay. So you are summoned. Lucius and Flavia, the 2 of you make your way, you kind of shove past Labiena, get out of our way, get up on top of the deck, and then what?
I would assume that Flavia is being guided and escorted by Lucius towards wherever Valeronius is standing.
He
At which point,
kind of directs you guys to this side right here. He like just kind of points like over there, and you get the impression he knows he wants you to wait for his judgment. So that's what he does. Basically says, I want you to wait over here. Albina, you're up.
Well, she would she be able to try to slither her way deeper into the ship?
Yeah.
Then yeah, she's going to be doing that.
For what purpose?
She wants to place as much distance between herself and the other traitors of the coterie that led her to turn her back on the man that saved her.
Yep, you can do that. Okay. You slither deeper in. Labiena, back to you. Now, the animals that have responded to Hatshepsut's call, you hear the birds, call, as they're approaching, the wings flapping, and they all kind of circle, but with her gone and that call now dispersed, they circle a couple of times to fly away as the call is dispersed. It was like, huh, that was weird.
Okay.
All right, Labiena.
Alright, I'm actually wondering if I should not bother trying to resist with a plan in mind. Because what she's going to attempt to do is, as soon as she appears from the porthole and catches a glimpse of Valeranius's face, she's going to try and hit the intimations of mortality.
Okay. You do that. As soon as you pop up, you do Intimations of Mortality, so you can make that roll. And the two ghouls, Valeranius goes, there, her! And one guy flips around, and they both fire.
Okay, so let's see. I need to remove another point of willpower.
Incidentally, Hatshepsut, you have now met final death as you are still on fire.
Yep.
And,
Yep, I figured.
Oh no.
She crumbles to ash, and the flame that was on her clothes just kind of puffs out.
I mean, I'm gonna be real. I've been thinking the situation through a few times, and even if she'd been like revived, she probably would have ended up getting final death from refusing to back down anyway. So it is what it is.
Okay. The first ghoul hits. Second ghoul. Come on. Okay. Labiana, you are hit with flaming arrows. What kind of armor are you wearing?
Well, just trying to remember how much time we had to prepare, like armor and such before.
Do you normally wear armor, or do you keep it in your crate?
I think the only armor she really has is that thick cloak of hers. So
I mean, you guys tell me.
I think it's yeah. I think it's just like the heavy clothing style.
Okay, so that'd be one dice. So the arrows ignore that. All right, so you need to roll your stamina plus fortitude. You are on fire. You have 2 flaming arrows in you. So you take 2 ag plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
So stamina, fortitude.
Yeah. So it's 2. Roll to soak your 2 ag, which is fortitude only. At difficulty 4, because it's just flaming arrows. And so do that first.
What? It is discipline number 2.
Yep.
Oops. Come here.
What's going on, dog? How you doing?
Discipline 2. What diff is it for this?
4.
4.
Unfortunately, it's going to get worse as your clothes catch on fire.
Yeah. So just fortitude, right?
Correct. Okay, you have soaked that, but you are on fire, and I need you to soak 1, 2, 3, 4. So roll your stamina only, and soak 4 lethal. You've already soaked 1 from the extra fortitude success, so you need to soak 3 more lethal with the remains of your stamina, and then roll your courage at difficulty 6, because you are on fire.
So you say the next roll stamina only?
Correct. Just roll your stamina. You already soaked 1 extra with your fortitude, so...
Okay. Does this diff 4 as well?
Nope, diff 6. Standard
Diff
soak.
6, okay.
Yep. Standard damage.
Right, here goes.
Okay. You take no damage. You've soaked it all. You are on fire. Roll your courage diff 6.
Courage, okay. So I was wondering if at some point Labiana might have although she won't be able to do it this turn obviously, but to just make a mad dash, run, dive overboard to put the flames out.
Well, you are still summoned. Well,
Fair.
technically, you have made yourself aware of his presence. He's acknowledged you, so you're no longer summoned. But
Or alternatively, she could just run towards him and set Valeranius on fire. Anyway, so did you say diff 6 for the courage roll?
correct.
Right.
Okay, you do not frenzy. Flavia and Lucius, the two of you are kind of at a standstill, just waiting on his pleasure. Flavia, do you attempt to do anything?
No, I just imagined that she would continue in her subservient pose, the way she was told to behave, and wait to see what she's being told to do next.
Okay. The two ghouls, now that it's their turn, take a multi-action, one to ready their arrow, and one to fire another pair of flaming arrows into Labiana. And they both miss. Lucky you. Valeranius summoned you, Albina. You are summoned.
Can I try to resist?
Sure.
It is a willpower roll, yes?
Yes, spend 1 point of willpower, then roll your remaining at difficulty 8.
Fuck.
Oh, you begin to make your way back at your slow, creeping shadow speed. Alright, so you can do nothing but make your way back to him, which is going to take a couple of rounds. This round plus one more. Labiana. Roll to soak 2 ag at difficulty 6.
Okay. So, do we establish what the effects of intimations of mortality is?
Yes.
On Valeranius?
His actions are at plus 2 difficulty. He has not spent a willpower to ignore that yet.
Okay. So it's not going to break any of his existing mental disciplines that are currently active, right?
Correct.
Damn.
You spend 1 willpower, roll intelligence plus medicine. He is afflicted with all the unpleasant sensations of mortal life. All actions are at plus 2 difficulty. I may ignore the penalties by spending 1 willpower. Furthermore, I may not use blood to raise physical attributes, and willpower cannot eliminate that penalty. I may still use potent, celerity, and fortitude. And of course, all other disciplines.
Okay.
But
Now,
he cannot spend blood to raise his physical attributes.
Okay. So, does that only take effect now? So, does that mean his dexterity is still buffed?
His dexterity is still buffed.
Okay. That's right, I suspected that. But at least he can't up it anymore.
He may not up it, and he may not up his strength anymore.
Okay, so let me do this. So it was another courage roll, right? Or is this self-control?
No, you've mastered yourself, but you are on fire, and I need you to roll your fortitude at difficulty 6.
Oh, right, yeah, the soak roll. Oops,
Sadly, you can't just, ignore the fire away.
Yeah.
no, exactly. So fortitude at diff 6,
Yep.
because this is aggravated damage.
And if you don't put it out this round, next round will be 3 ag. Alright, your undead flesh resists the flame. Is eating away at your clothing. But you can feel the heat, you can see the flame, the orange light. You look, your ally's hat lays is now a pile of ash. You can see her clothes on the deck. 2 of your youngest coterie members standing there trembling in anticipation of their fate, seemingly resigned to whatever Valeranius is going to do to them. Albina, nowhere to be seen. You look around. Give me a perception alertness roll.
Okay.
Difficulty 6.
Perception, alertness. diff 6.
In the full moonlight, you notice the ship is gently bobbing about 500 meters away from shore. You can see just make out the dark outline of hills. Something. It's not ocean, so you know it's land.
Okay. Alright, well... Just trying to think. Now the question is, do I enact Benedictio Mortem first, or do I make a mad dash for Valeranius whilst on fire? Might as well make the mad dash first. Then I can try and cast Benedictio Mortem. Although, will that work if I'm already on fire?
You
Because I
should be
believe
able
it'll
to.
just turn it into
Makes it lethal, as it just begins to eat
Lethal.
away.
lethal, I think, yeah. I think.
This might be the first time you've actually been able to use that power.
Yeah. Which means I could then soak it with
You spend
stamina
one
as well
point
as
of
fortitude.
willpower and roll stamina plus occult.
Okay.
It doesn't say when you can do it. You just do it. It's an action.
Yeah, I was gonna say it is an action, so like I say, I'm just thinking I should at least try and set Valeranius on fire first before trying to enact it. Make use of this fire. Would I be able to use one turn to get to him and, you know, just like...
So you can advance 3 spaces towards him. 1, 2, 3.
okay.
So you can't quite get to point where you can
Get to him in one... Yeah,
So you
right.
you can use your action from here to leap at him.
But I think I might use that then to enact Benedictio Mortem. Might be the sensible thing at this point.
Okay.
What about tearing her flaming robes and throwing at him?
You could do that.
Like,
You
how
could
far
advance
would I-
there and rip your flaming cloak off and throw it at him as an action. You can do that. Probably not from that far away. You'd have to be closer than that, but...
Yeah. I was going to say, so I think I might do the Benedictio Mortem first. Try and give myself a better chance of surviving this.
Okay, yeah. Spend a point of willpower, roll stamina plus occult diff 8.
Now I will say this, I'm down to 1 willpower after this.
Alright. And that's 4 successes?
Right,
Or, no, that was your courage roll. Or,
that was my...
no, that was your observation roll.
Yeah, observation roll. Okay, so where are we? Stamina, occult, diff 8. Fingers crossed. I won't be able to spend a willpower on this because then I'll be down to 0. Damn it.
You try to call forth the magic, and at the last second, you just cannot exert enough effort to pull it. The effort, the attempt leaves you weakened, mentally drained. But you know it did not work. You do have a little bit of movement if you want to move.
Yeah, I think I better start moving towards him.
Alright.
Would that be 1 or 2 paces then?
Whichever. You can move 3 squares.
Yeah.
So that's as
Right,
close
I'll
as you
move
can
3.
get.
Okay.
Okay. Flavia. Once again, you and Lucius, do you do anything? or do you wait?
Flavia continues to wait.
Watching this last-ditch effort, what's going through your mind as you watch Labiana curse in the face of the gods and curse at Valeranius and just pulling out every trick in her book to take this asshole down? What's going through your head?
Well, she's, first of all, feeling very helpless because she can't think of a single thing in her feeble array of skills that could possibly assist Labiana. And I don't know, she's just kind of frozen in fear. She wants to act and do something, but she knows that if she does, she'll probably end up dead. And that's about the only thing that's going through her mind, the helplessness of it all. That her mind is in a frenzy of just, I want to do something to help my friend. She's going to die if I don't.
All right. The two ghouls are going next. He's going to let his ghouls go. They step forward, drop the bows, draw their blades, and engage Labiana front to back, giving them an extra dice on their attacks. And they attack with sword and shield. And they will be spending a point of blood, both of them, to make their potence automatic. Oh, I didn't give them their extra dice. I'm just going to roll one extra there. Okay. No change. All right. So that's 4 and 3. So they're going to roll damage. 2 for the sword. 2 extra, 3 extra. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 14, 19, come on, go, go, go. All right, so it's 4 automatic lethal from their potents. They both have strength 5, so that's 10 dice. Plus 2 extra for the blades, so 10, 14, plus extra successes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 8. So 12 lethal. You have to soak. Stamina plus fortitude.
Okay, hold on.
Unfortunately, your armor's no longer applies because it's burning away.
It's on fire, yeah. Okay, so stamina, fortitude. Let's just hope I soak enough of it. How many did you say I had to try and...
12.
12. How many do I actually have? Hold on.
You haven't taken any damage yet.
I know, but let's see what I've got to work with. What's my stamina? 3. And my fortitude is 3. At best, I can cut it in half by 6.
That'll be enough to keep you out of torpor, I believe.
Yeah, just. Well, actually, I can spend blood per turn, can't I?
Yes, you
Probably
can.
too late to buff my stamina, can't I?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's too late. for that.
Why didn't I think of that earlier? Well, only one thing left to do. Here goes nothing.
Holy
Oh!
shit! Yes, you are
When
down.
I needed it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You are down to crippled, but you are up.
Question is, would I have had a chance to cast Mortis in Voltus
No.
at some stage? No.
Well, at some stage, yes, but you didn't think of it.
No, sadly not.
Valeranius takes his turn, seeing you still up. Unbelievably, after taking, they step forward with their shields. They smash one, smash the other, and then they do the Roman whap, 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 whap. Just jab that sword into you several times. Bam, 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 bam. And you're still up. He takes his blade. He's going to spend a willpower point to ignore the dice penalty. And he's going to target your head. Called strike to your head. All right. So 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7. So 7 lethal.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
even if you roll the best, you're
that's
still
not
incapacitated.
going to be enough.
Yep.
Yep.
His blade takes you across the throat, and it just misses getting the rest of your spine, and your head just kind of flops. Just barely held on, and your body collapses, still on fire. Little
Now-
flames, black smoke.
My question is, will my cloak, now that I've fallen onto the deck, start to set the deck on fire? Please tell me it does.
It would if they gave it enough time.
Is there
Albina.
anything flammable nearby?
Yeah, there's plenty of flammable stuff nearby.
It's just the issue of now that they're not distracted, they can focus
Yeah.
on putting out anything that starts.
Yes, exactly. Albina, you are on the deck. You have been summoned.
Her shadow slither around Valeronius' feet like that, like an animal desperately trying to earn any sign of forgiveness or affection from the owner after he has done something wrong.
We're going to be out of combat now. I'm going to... Feel free to act, but Valeranius looks at you, looks at the shadow. He feels the coldness creeping. And he says, reform back into Albina. Show your physical body.
She reforms on her knees in front of him, her eyes cast down, looking at his feet.
Stay there. Flavia, Lucius, you see the 2 ghouls stand up. They grab the pot of oil and the lamp, and they prepare to throw it on board, or onto Albina. From behind her back where she can't see. Do you act or react? Or do you wait for her fate?
I'm assuming Flavia would recognize that it is oil, right?
Yes,
Not water
yes.
or some other substance.
Flammable lamp oil.
I believe that she would dare to remark out loud so that Albina would be able to hear her, but still remaining with her subservient posture, that She finds it odd that the crew would be attempting to wash the deck of the ship using oil, and she would ask, is it effective?
I think Albina, I think that would give you. You may attempt to dodge this this attack.
Yes, I will definitely try to dodge it.
All right. It is your Dex plus Athletics against their Dex plus Athletics to splash you with the material. Come on, character sheet, open up. Thank you. Thank you much. 5, 6, 7, 8.
4 successes with the lightning reflexes. If it, oh no, that this character does not have lightning reflexes, so just 3.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5. Unfortunately, you go to roll out of the way, and the arc is just too much, and it still splashes, and the lamp, you are now engulfed in flame. Completely engulfed. Soak 4 aggravated damage at difficulty 8.
Well, at least the life stats aren't going to be a problem anymore.
So you take 2 more ag.
Okay, so while incapacitated, how much blood would I be able to spend at this point to start healing?
You are incapacitated for 15 minutes.
Okay.
You can do nothing but lay there and twitch.
But after that, I can start healing?
Yes.
Cool.
All right. One of the ghouls, or 2 of the ghouls, step forward, and as you're twitching and writhing in agony, they take their blades and attempt to stab you into submission before you can turn back into shadow or do something to run or jump overboard or whatever it is. You know what? Give me another initiative roll first, because we kind of went out of action. So let's do another initiative roll real quick. Nice. You might actually get this first. Yeah. Albina, you're on fire. You're in hideous pain. Your beast... Do you let your beast just go to save you?
Yes.
Alright.
I imagine that let it go as in let it escape, let
Yes.
it go into the water.
Gotta
Yes,
go.
definitely.
Get out. You slam and try to run overboard. I am going to let them attempt to stop you and give them a +2 difficulty because you're acting first.
A question. Would this fulfill my nature of survival?
If you live out of this, yes. You will regain a willpower if you survive the combat. Roll to soak 4 more ag for me as you're jumping overboard.
Can I use a willpower on this?
No. You cannot not use willpower to soak aggravated damage. Or even soak damage at all, but yeah. So that's
Shit.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ag.
Yes.
As they go to stop you, no! You leap overboard. And just as you're about to hit the water, all that hits is a pile of ash. It spreads across the waves.
Well,
They take this opportunity. They kind of slap you around for a second, Labiana. What are your last words before they dispose of you.
I'm gathering I can't actually do anything.
You are too badly hurt, but you can respond verbally.
Or
It's a
fit.
shame. I was gonna say, it's a shame I just wouldn't be able to knock something that's flaming into something that's flammable to try and start setting the ship alight. Because if she could, then her last words would be, "Revenge is at hand."
I recommend just spitting.
If nothing else, she'd probably just say, "Revenge will seek you out eventually." Or I should say, karma will seek you out eventually.
He nods, gives him the signal, and they lop your head off. Valeranius turns to look at you, Flavia, you, Lucius. The two of you are young. You have a chance to make this right and make it up to me. Do you desire this, or do you desire the mercy of a swift death? And he drops the majesty. You may now act and respond freely. He has dropped the majesty. You may act and respond freely. What do you do?
Lucius wouldn't care. He would no, he would, as long as Flavia got to live, whatever happened to him happens to him.
Just to make it clear, how many of the coterie are now permanently deceased? Is it
All-
the two?
All but you two.
So Albina is also gone.
She is
Yes.
gone.
Well, in that case,
We may have miscalculated here, okay, guys?
Oh, oops. Okay.
It happens. Which is a shame, because I was looking forward to the Feast of Folly.
She talk.
Sorry.
Damn it.
So
No,
Valeranius looks
it's
at you,
fine.
Flavia, and says, well, it appears your decision here now is responsible for 2 lives.
Well, she looks up at him finally and says, but we're not exactly truly alive now, are we?
Do you throw yourself on the last shreds of my mercy?
He just responds by saying, what's the point of living if you can't feel alive?
He takes that as a please kill me confession.
Yes, she lost her family. The only person that's left is Lucius.
Draws his
And-
blade,
He doesn't care.
points at Flavia, and says, kneel on the deck.
Lucius would get between him and Flavia.
He does a targeted attack at your head as his 2 ghouls approach from either side. He's going to take your head first. How does your response? You get between him and he just goes, woof, and goes for your head.
Can I dodge it or
Yeah, what do you do?
parry it or anything like that?
You
I
tell
don't know.
me. What do you do? Bring up a blade to block, dodge, jump overboard, just take it? I mean, you tell me.
Can I grab Flavia and try to jump overboard?
Yeah, so this is contested. He is doing a melee attack, and you're doing a strength plus brawl. Or sorry, strength plus athletics. So roll your strength plus potence plus athletics against his dexterity and plus melee.
Strength plus. Which one was my potence?
And he's
Potence
spending
plus
a blood to make his potence
7.
automatic if he hits.
7. Strength plus. Discipline 7. And what was the other one? Strength plus potence plus
Strength
what?
plus potence plus athletics.
Athletics.
Yep. So he got 5 successes because his specialty.
Can I spend a willpower?
Yeah.
Or do anything to get an automatic success? Or
I'll let you spend a willpower for this. You know it's
and
coming.
what's difficulty?
6.
Sick.
I suspect Flavia's not resisting you. He had 3, or he had 5, and you had 4. You had 3 or 4. You do not make it off before you grab her and you start to drag her off, and he's like, nope, wham! Unfortunately, he does not hit your head, only hits your back. But you cannot get off the ship yet. So 4 potence plus 4, 6. Seven, 8, 9. You need to roll your stamina plus fortitude. I don't think you have armor on, so roll your stamina plus fortitude at difficulty 6, and soak 9, and soak 4, 5, 6, 7 lethal.
Stamina plus fortitude, you said?
Yep.
And what was the difficulty again?
6. That is a standard difficulty. 6. So you take 6 lethal damage. So mark off 6 of your health boxes, which brings you down to a wound penalty of... Come on, go back to main page here. So you should mark off a bruised. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You are at crippled. So mark off the crippled box, and all of your dice are now at a -5 penalty because of the pain and the damage to your body.
So you should mark all the way down to crippled?
Yes. Mark up. Put a
like
X,
that?
Put an X in the crippled box. Let me go to your character sheet, and I'll help you out. Come on, come on. Thank you, Roll20, for cooperating. Yes, just like that.
Okay.
Come on, Roll20, work with me. There it goes. Okay. Next round, the ghouls are going to go Flavia. Unless you do something, the ghouls are going first.
I think at this point she would want to pull very forcefully on Lucius and tell him, stop. Just where do you think you're going to run to? You're a soldier. Or you were a soldier. Let's face this douchebag with honor.
I
He can
love
take our
it.
heads off if he likes, but I am not going down on my knees. Let's go. And she keeps tugging on him, trying to bring him back towards Valeranius so he can do his thing.
Lucius, do you let her do it?
Well, now I got a big, huge, gaping gash on my back. Yeah, I would turn around. I would wrap an arm around her shoulder. Then I would look Valeronius straight in the eye and just smile.
Take your death like a warrior, and he takes your head.
Because when death is looking you in the face, all you can do is smile.
He looks at you, Flavia, and he says, "Do you have any last words?"
Go to hell.
And he looks at, and he smiles and he says, "Of all of them, I think I actually admire you the most." And then he takes your head. And that's it.
Yeah, I'm speechless about this one.
I'm not mad at it though. Played out like a scene from the movie.
So I guess the question is, what do here?
Do we wrap things up? I guess that's the decision we want to make.
Don't believe there's any other choice.
Okay, well, I'm going to stop recording here. Well, everybody, that about does it for us. And here at All Roads Lead to Rome. For those of you guys who've listened, we really appreciate it. I hope you really enjoyed it. In all honesty, this kind of ended as every vampire game should. The players fallen victim to their own hubris and overestimating their abilities. So I know it's not quite the amazing victory of a D&D campaign or something like that, but in all honesty, I think this is about as satisfying as a vampire finale gets. So for one final time, everybody, once again, thank you for listening. I hope you guys all have a great evening.